the temperature will just keep going up and the fans will ramp up again. So 83, 84, we're going to hit 85. Okay then guys, we're back, and as you can see on the motherboard and down here and various other places, there are some lights. And I'd love to say that right now everything is working hunky-dory and we can just put the side panel on and do the final peeling and then start installing everything, and just everything will be right with the world. However, there is a problem. This is turning into the build from hell, I think. So the first problem we ran into was we were getting a CPU temperature warning. It wasn't booting to the BIOS screen. It was giving us a temperature warning like down this side. I don't know how the layout is. So we checked the CPU cooler. It wasn't screwed in at this top right hand side. So we screwed it in, made sure everything was connected correctly. Turned it back on again. Then the RAM wasn't seated. This stick on the left hand side wasn't seated correctly, so we seated that properly, me and my brother that is, just to get that sorted. Then we tried again, we turned it back on. Turns out this side of the PCIe cable had somehow worked its way loose. They're all in there snug now, I think. And I was thinking, yeah, okay, finally, you know, little teething problems, that's fine. And then we turned it on again, and we got to a BIOS screen. And threw my arms up in triumph and gleefully stated, I've just built a computer, yay! However, there are problems, because for some reason, when we turn it on, the temperature starts very, very high, like at 70, and it keeps going up. I think we watched it go up to 95 before we turned it off, because I didn't want to obviously cook the CPU and ruin it before I'd even got a chance to properly use it. So we did a bit of reading. We looked at some videos. We looked at some gumph on the web, on the interwebs, and we moved these two cables here, or to these two fans on the radiator. So we shifted them from being plugged in at the back via the. I'll show you. They were originally. Just trying to find it. They were originally plugged into all this lot here. I'm going to try and shift this a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see. So yeah, we had them all plugged in via this like little collection of things. There's like little connectors here. So we had the back panel and the top. We had the back and the top fan plugged into there, along with the two front panel fans as well. Oh, sorry, back and knee are absolutely fucked. So yeah, they were there and we're having problems. So we looked online and we came across something that said that might help, is to plug the Kraken into the AIO pump header on the motherboard, so the the pump would run 100%. And then we plug the fans into the CPU fan and the optional CPU fan header on the motherboard, and same problem again. The fans ramped up, they kept ramping up, and the temperature kept going up. We can see it, we'll see it in a second because I'm going to turn it on and show you. But yeah, I'm at a complete loss. So let's turn it on. Let's just watch the problem as it emerges. So you can see everything sort of comes on. You get light in there. Yeah, pretty much everything. The RGB strips haven't come on, but I think I might have to set those up in whatever software, and the lighting for these hasn't either, but I think that might be just to do with get the correct software for the Hue Plus. But yeah, you can see everything seems on. The fans are spinning and they're going straight away. So, and this thing's been sat idle for half an hour not doing anything while we've been trying to figure it out. But I mean, you can already see it's just at 77, 78 already. It's not done anything for half an hour, and it's sat right there. So I don't know whether this is giving us a false reading, or I don't know. Did I accidentally set the CPU on fire before I put the pump on? But look, the temperature will just keep going up, and the fans will ramp up again. So 83, 84. We're gonna hit 85. We are gonna hit 85. So I'm gonna turn this off because I don't want to cook it completely. So yeah, I'm at a loss right now as to what the problem is and why the temperatures are so high out of the box. Like I said, it's been sitting for half an hour. When we first turned it on, it started at 70. Within about 10 seconds, it was at 75, and it just kept going up. The highest we've seen it hit, just sitting there and not doing anything. We didn't touch the keyboard, didn't touch the mouse, just turned it on, and the highest we saw it get to was 95 before we turned it off. Now I know these CPUs do have an offset temperature. I think if it's 20, I think the offset is, but still, even if an offset of 20, that would still be 75, which is still hot for the BIOS. So I don't know if the BIOS is giving us a false reading, or there is a problem there that I don't know. I'm at a loss. So I'm going to go try and figure this out. Probably will try and figure it out tomorrow now, because it's like 12:30 and I'm knackered and I want to get something to eat and, you know, maybe watch an episode of Peaky Blinders, because I'm still getting through that. So yeah, I'm at a loss. I am confused now. So probably going to have to enlist some help from not only my brother again, but also the interwebs, and also maybe my friend Dimitri, who's very clued in with his computers. But right now, I'm confuzzled and worried because I don't know what I've done or what I haven't done. So yeah, I'll be back in a moment with the next segment of the build from hell, and hopefully everything will be hunky-dory and we can move on to doing the fun stuff like playing games and watching pornography, as you do. Right then, see you in the next segment. Okay then guys, so it's been about a week and a half since the last little segment, and basically I've been on to NZXT. I took them through what I've done troubleshooting wise, and they recommended I contact the retailer. I have, and now basically I'm supposed to return it. So I'm going to be taking the pump out in a moment. But before I do that, I wanted to check something. Now it is a bit all over the place because it's an absolute wiring nightmare down there. That I don't want to even think about. I'm going to try and get some some custom cable mods, white sleeved cables. I know I've got these extensions, but they don't fit directly into the power supply. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is, someone recommended I take out the mini USB from the pump, which should mean that the pump will run at 100%. So I'm going to turn it on and see what it does, and hopefully it works, and I can maybe get get Windows installed and get the cam software and get a custom fan curve on there. But I don't have much hope for it. But let's just see. Let's just see what we can do. So the fans have ramped up to 100%. Everything's looking nice. And let's just see what the temperatures do. Okay, CPU fan speed error detected. Ensure the CPU fan is properly installed to the CPU fan header. Right. Okay. Right. I don't know what's happening. So yeah, I'm completely at a loss right now. So let's press F1, see what that does, see if it gets us to where we need to be. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, there's the temperature, and so maybe it's not a Duff cooler. Right. I'm really confused now. So I think maybe is it running correctly? So Okay, so I think I've sorted the problem, I think. Um, okay. I'm I'm confused. I think this may be... So the pump's working correctly then, it's just... Do I need to get the cam software installed before we... I'm confused now. So I think we may be in business. Okay, so I'm going to investigate this further and see. I'm not liking look. I don't know if that core voltage is correct. 1.4. But yeah, so I'm gonna turn the system off and I'm gonna investigate what that problem was with the CPU fan header that it mentioned. But yeah, I think we might be in business. So I'll be back in the next segment. Okay then, guys, we're back, and yeah, so I did a bit of investigating. Like I said, somebody suggested it, and I'll name drop them when I can remember the name, because I'm terrible. It's early in the morning. So you'd think that we would have everything sorted, we get Windows installed, and we'd be done with this. No, because here's the power supply. Watch. So I can't turn the power supply off, which means I have to send it back. You see, I think it's as soon as I figured out it wasn't a Duff cooler, something else had to break. It's like, no, you're not getting off that easily. I'm going to break now. I mean, it works, but would you trust something that's got a faulty switch in a £2,000 PC build? I wouldn't either. So yeah, now I've got to. Well, I've took it out. I need to take the cover thing of the little bracket thing that goes on the back of the PC, the back of the case. Sorry. So yeah, now I've got to figure out what cables came with it. I think I've got most of them. It's just one that I'm missing. I know there's one in there that I've still got to get. This one here. That's the 24 pin that goes into here. But it's not the same cable. I've got a cable extension. But I am now, considering I've got to wait for a new power supply, I'm going to order a proper cabling kit, because I think it might help with the cable management, which again is still an absolute nightmare. Even taking all the cables out is still a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, I've got to send this back to the retailer, and they'll send a new one out, and we'll hopefully then be able to get it done, and we can move on with our lives. To bigger and better things. Unless something else decides. Anything else in there? Any of you guys want to break? Hey, what about you, Mr. Ramsticks? How about you guys? No? Graphics card, do you want to crap out on me? Oh, he's already dusty as well. Look at that. Dusty. It's because it's been sitting under my desk, not doing what it should be doing, which is playing awesome games and rendering stuff uber quickly. So yeah, I'm going to send the power supply back. Hopefully it's a very quick turnaround and we can get everything up and running. And like I said, I'm going to order my cable mod, and I'm also going to order like a 90-degree angle thing for this, just so I can put this up through there rather than have it come through here and look all ugly, because I can't get it through there, because I mentioned last time in one of the other previous segments that the end of the actual connector is it's longer than the actual hole that I've got there. So yeah, the build from hell continues. So I'm going to get everything packed up and get it sent off hopefully today, and then maybe we can finally finish this build off and like I said, move on to bigger and better things. So I'll see you in the next segment when my new power supply arrives.
Eventually.
Okay then, guys, we're back, and as you saw in that last little segment, my power supply failed. It worked, but I just couldn't switch it off, and I'm not having any duff parts in this, because if that can break, then who knows what else is faulty on the internal side of it. So I wasn't going to take any risks. So that last little segment was about a month ago. Yeah, so I had to send. I got onto Seasonic and they recommended I send it back to the retailer. I sent it back to the retailer, and they did a little internal test, and then they sat on it for 2 weeks, and then they sent it back to, and then they decided to send it back to Seasonic. And then I got confirmation from Seasonic before the retailer confirmed that they'd received the power supply. So yeah, they said that they, the retailer had missed a period for where they file credit notes or whatever for faulty products or whatever. So yeah, I got onto the retailer, box.co.uk, and then I got into what would say a little bit of verbal fisticuffs, I guess, because they offered me store credit of £113. However, they didn't have this model in stock. They had the Seasonic Focus 750 and 650, and I think it was a 500 as well. I'm not sure, but they didn't have the 850, and the 750 was £130. So I would have had to have paid £17 more for a power supply that is rated at 100 watts less, basically. So I wasn't having that. And just a quick tip for you guys: if anybody does ever offer you store credit in the UK, in the very least, with regards to UK consumer rights, you don't have to take it. You can still demand a refund. So if they try to say, "Oh no, we can only issue store credit," it's bullcrap. They can't do it. There's consumer rights. Blah blah blah. So I played that hand. And then the lady who was getting the brunt of my verbal beating, basically, scuttled around and got back to me about an hour later on emails. Okay, we'll get onto one of our retailers and we'll have them send it directly to you, a brand new power supply. So yeah, that took a whole month. So yeah, and in the meantime, I decided that I was going to get a cabling kit, because one of the things I was thinking about was the cable management in this thing. I do have these here, which are just cable extensions, but it's adding more cables to what is already a pretty cramped space. I mean, looking at the under of the bottom side of it, you think, oh, well, you got all this, but no, because the power supply probably comes up to about here. So you've only got up to like there, because that's where you can just see through these gaps here. That's pretty much where the drive cage starts. I think that's the screw for it. So yeah, you've only got a very small amount of space for cable management, and adding more cables to that equation is just not going to be helpful at all when it comes to managing the cables and making it look semi-presentable at the rear. So yeah, I decided to get this one. It's the Bitfinex Alchemy 2.0 cabling kit in white. And the other thing I've got is this. So if you remember from, I don't know, maybe it was earlier in this episode or a little bit, or one of the other episodes, I mentioned that I couldn't get this, the USB 3.0 header, through that hole to get to the actual header, which is there. I couldn't do it, so that's why it's coming through here, basically. So I decided to go and get one of these, which is basically puts it on a 90-degree angle, basically. So it's this bit goes in. Sorry, I'm going to try and do it. So this bit goes into there, it has it facing downwards, the connection, basically. So that will just come up through there. It doesn't have to come up and out and then back towards it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I got this from Mod DIY. This cost me £7. It's just this little ditty thing here, £7. But yeah, so I'm hopefully going to get things done today. I'm also thinking about potentially moving the network card, moving it to maybe one of the slots down here. I think there's probably a slot around here somewhere. Just to make I don't like it sitting on top of there. I would have imagined there was a bit more space, but I can't really put that on the motherboard manufacturer. I think it's probably just on the further. This card is so big, it's massive, it's so thick. So yeah, I'm going to move around and get all this out and get the bits I need to hopefully finish this build off to then get Windows installed, because we saw in the last one of the last previous segments that I think we might have figured out the temperature issues. So hopefully I can get Windows installed, get the CAM software, and then basically be done with it. Hopefully get like a custom fan curve on there so it's not cooking itself. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get all this sorted, and hopefully that's the end of the problems, and hopefully the end of the build. We can do we can get everything, like I said, installed, get the new monitor up here as well, which I'll go through, and be done with this arduous task, which is probably should have taken 1 or 2 days. It's taken me nearly 2 months. yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to build a PC ever again, and if I do, I probably would have. I've learned a lot from doing this, so yeah. But yeah, I'm going to get everything sorted and get going because it's about 9 o'clock in the morning now, and I've got recording to do later today, so I want to get that done on this PC hopefully. So I've got a lot to do today to get everything set up and ready to go. But yeah, so I'll be back in the next segment. Next time on the Build from Hell, is this the end of our PC building journey? Will our CPU still be as hot as Kate Upton in a whipped cream bikini? And will I have to throw myself out that window? Tune in next time, find out.